Hello, in this video we're going to cover NES Tetris DAS skill stopping, and this is video 4 in a series on DAS. So if you haven't watched the first videos, definitely go back and watch them, or this probably won't make very much sense. And all this information and much more is available in my book titled Tricks of the Classic NES Tetris Masters, which is available on Amazon.com. So in the first videos we covered the basics of DAS, how you can increase your DAS charge through a wall charge, and then what you can do to keep your DAS charge and what things you do to lose your DAS charge. So the main thing we cover on how you lose your DAS charge is, when you tap the left and right arrows on your D-pad, your DAS counter gets reset to 0 unless you're in the entry delay. So you might be wondering, well, how do you play without tapping the left and right arrow keys? And the answer is you have to master skill stopping. And basically, if you're playing a piece and you want it to move all the way over onto the edge of the screen where it touches the wall, it's very easy with DAS. You just push the arrow key over to the right, wait until it hits the wall, and that's that. You still have your DAS charge. But what if you want to play a piece like shown here in this screenshot where it's not all the way against the wall, and you want to do it in a way where you don't lose your DAS charge? Well, what you do is the skill stop technique, which is where you would hold down the right arrow in your entry delay so that the piece would be moving to the right direction initially, and what you would do is let the piece move over to the right, but then time it just right so that you let off the arrow key when the piece is above the location where you want it to fall. So it sounds easy, but it's pretty tricky to do, especially at higher levels. But with practice, you can get this down where you're able to skill stop fairly consistently. And what's good is, in a lot of cases, like in this example here, if you didn't time it right and you held down the right arrow too long, what you could do is correct it by tapping it into the right direction, which would lose your DAS charge. But when the piece got down to the bottom, in this case, you could do a right or left wall charge to increase your DAS charge all the way back up to 16 before the piece locks in there at the bottom. And the reason why skill stopping works is you're never tapping the arrow key, right? You're holding down the right key until it's lined up with where it goes, and then you let go, and so you still have a full DAS charge. And when the next piece plays, you can hold down left to have that piece move left, and you're never pushing left or right except in the entry delay when you skill stopped correctly. And that's why you're able to keep your DAS charge fully charged. And next we'll show an example of this in a real game. Alright, so here's a real example of a skill stop in action. So what we have here is an emulator, and I've slowed it down and so it's in slow motion so we can see exactly what's going on, because everything happens really fast in a real skill stop, but we have it in slow motion here so you can see what's going on. You can see right now we have a full DAS charge, and I'm not currently pushing any arrows on the D-pad. My next piece is this T piece, and I want to play it right here, and I want to play it with a skill stop so that I don't get my DAS counter reset all the way down to 0. Anytime you're between 10 and 16, your DAS is doing pretty good. If you tap the piece, it'll go down to 0. So when this piece locks in, I'll be in the entry delay. I'll hold down the right arrow, and I'll hold it down until it is lined up. So, okay, we're in the entry delay. I'm holding down the right arrow. Okay, and I'm going to let go of the right arrow once the piece is lined up with where I want it to go. So that's all there is to a skill stop. You hold down the arrow key with the direction you want to go during the entry delay. You release the D-pad arrow when the piece is above right where it needs to be, and the piece will fall into place, or you can push it down to drop it into place. And that's all there is to the skill stop. It's much more difficult in a high-speed game like at level 19 or above, but with practice you can get this down so that you can do it fairly consistently. And one thing you want to remember is if you mess up your skill stop and you overshoot, like let's say I wanted to line this piece up and I overshot it where I needed to go, and then I tap it back into place, which will instantly, anytime you tap the air like that, you're going to get DAS 0. But remember, as you're playing this piece, like I can do a wall charge. As soon as I get part of the piece, like right here, right there, I can start pushing right. That does a wall charge. My DAS counter goes right up. So when you're skill stopping, you'll overshoot it or undershoot it if your timing's off a little bit. But just try to get a wall charge before the piece locks in, so you can get your DAS counter back up. And that's really all there is to skill stopping, is just practicing this. I hope this video was helpful on NES Tetris skill stopping. If you have any questions or comments, please post them in the comment section here. If you found this helpful, please consider purchasing my book titled Tricks of the Classic NES Tetris Masters, which is available on Amazon.com. And please subscribe. I'm planning on doing some more videos on NES Tetris. Thank you.